guys, it's Jay from ASMR for Nerds. Today we're just going to go ahead and continue with the 8-bit video game art book. And I wanted to just mention again, below this video are links to our Patreon page as well as links to buy some prints of photos I took of related materials, superhero things and figures and stuff. Every print that you guys buy really helps out, helps me continue this, and obviously every Patreon subscriber helps me continue to do this. The more that I can get a bit of support, the more videos I will put out, and I promise that. And I'll continue to think of kind of creative ways to incentivize this for everybody. So, moving on, we last ended with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, so let's just keep it going. As I mentioned in the last video, I really liked Maniac Mansion. Yep. Just the classic characters from Final Fantasy. This is Leisure Suit Larry. R-Type, Zillion, Shinobi, Rainbow Islands, the story of Bubble Bobble 2. I never played that one. Interesting. Contra, Wonder Boy in Monsterland, which I believe was re-released on the Switch in the past month or two. Oh god, a couple of great ones here. RC Pro-Am, Bionic Commando, which was so good. Metal Gear, another great one. Grand Prix Circuit, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Megaman 2. Now I think you guys might know this if you watch my videos. I have a playthrough of Megaman 2. One of my favorite games of all time, so let's read this. Can a game be flawless? Mega Man 2 comes pretty close. Our hero in blue has to contend with more of Dr. Wily's robot masters than in their first encounter. 8 instead of 6. Considered a little too easy by some of the gaming fraternity, Mega Man 2 is nevertheless great fun to play. Superb sprite designs, outstanding music, and unparalleled gameplay often copied but never bettered. Add up to a game you could play over and over again. If Mega Man is new to you, go straight to Mega Man 2. That's true, because if you go to Mega Man 1, that game is incredibly difficult. RC Pro-Am, which was a great game for what it was. At the time, Shack, and a lot of stores sold a ton of radio-controlled cars. Let's read about Mega Man 2. The Mega Man series cemented Capcom's reputation as a developer of games across different platforms. Founded in 1983, the Japanese company had already set down important markers with its play system for arcade machines and the Street Fighter franchise, launched in 1987. If Nintendo's games needed time to grow up, Capcom's were anything but child's play from the very beginning. The first Mega Man adventure was developed for the NES by Ghost and Goblins creator Tokuro Fujiwara. Capcom's intense use of color in their arcade games continued in their console titles, having a formative influence in the 8-bit era, as with the demands placed on players who really needed to demonstrate a high level of dexterity. Most successful product in the series was actually the sequel, Mega Man 2, a milestone in its own right. The nonlinear narrative, as established by Zelda and Metroid, was boosted by a vast array of different weapons which the Rocket Man could accumulate each time he defeated a boss at the end of a level. I don't need to keep reading this, we all know this stuff. But that was, I think, what appealed to me the most as a kid. Was being able to have all the different weapons. This was Bubble Man. I don't think that was a weapon. I think that was when you selected one of the special platforms or something. Ninja Gaiden, Double Dragon 2, TNC Surf Designs, Wood and Water Rage. I liked this game. Cloudmaster, Super Mario Bros. 3, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Batman the video game, which was pretty good. Quirk, Super Mario Land, which had some of the best music in a video game, I think. Prince of Persia, Tecmo World Wrestling, and Sailor Fuku Bishojo Zukan. I don't know what that is. Oh. There's nudity in that, I guess. The adult puzzle game. That was a surprise. Really nice artwork for the pixel artwork for the Batman game. The Prince of Persia created for the Mac signaled the end of the 8-bit era, as the animation of the figures was based on filmic studios of movement. Sprites were animated using a technique known as rotoscoping. Zombie Nation, which was a weird game. Dr. Mario, Kabuki Quantum Fighter, Crazy Creatures, F1 Race, Nintendo World Cup, which seems like it used the sort of characters from River City Ransom and Crash in the Boys Street Challenge, which was one of my favorite games. I remember this game now. When you kick the ball with power, it would kind of pancake out a little bit and knock people over. Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which was one of my favorite games, so let's read about that one. Capcom's brilliant platformer would surely have fared better if the game had gone on for a little bit longer. Okay, it was a little too simple as well, but it is impossible not to like a rescue mission starring chipmunks and great fun to play with one of your friends who may not be quite as skilled a gamer as yourself. It really is kids' play, so go find a kid to play with. You'll enjoy it. It was very simple, but I think that's what I liked about it because a lot of games back then were really hard, and although I liked hard games, sometimes it was fun just to pick up one like that. Now when you see something like this, it kind of reminds you how creative some of these artists were to be able to create something with this sort of depth and strangeness, just out of pixels, out of little squares. Metal Storm, Konami Hyper Soccer, Land of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, and Kirby's Adventure, which was of course a classic. So let's read about Kirby. A brilliantly animated, superbly landscaped adventure which pushes the capabilities of the NES to the absolute limit. In spite of its mighty 6 megabyte size, the game was built on a MMC3 rather than an MMC5 chip. Star of the show is Kirby, a charming master of metamorphosis. He has the handy knack of assimilating his adversary's abilities. Not the most difficult game to play, but a worthy final chapter in the NES story, complete with minigames and no end of magical surprises. This was one of my wife's favorite games. And then they just have sprites from 1971 to 1995. This is great. Look at this. It has all of their names if you're ever wondering that his name was Bub. Simon Belmont, Link. The ice climber's name is Popo. 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 Bold Bull, which was the first one I had trouble on in that game. I did, once you figure out how to beat him, it's not so bad, but to me, he was the first one that you would just hit a wall on. Princess Toadstool, Billy Lee. Solid Snake would make many appearances later on. Platforms. The Fairfield Channel F. Apple II. Atari 2600. Bally Astrocade. Nintendo Color TV game. And television. There's a lot. I had the Commodore 64. We had the Vectrex in our house. My dad was a video audio engineer and a professor, so he was into all this stuff. We had the Betamax and the VHS right when it came out, and all these little weird video game systems and word processors and computers and everything. That's probably why I ended up the way I am. And then that's the end. Now I just want to go back, since we have a bit more time, and maybe read about a couple of games that we might have skipped over that I wanted to read about. It's a good noise flipping through. Listen. Nice heavy pages. Let's see what they say about Legend of Zelda. Because why not? Little did we know when Zelda first appeared on the NES that we were witnessing the beginning of one of Nintendo's greatest ever franchises. Link sets out to search for the 8 Triforce shards he needs to free Princess Zelda from Ganon's lair. The non-linear adventure with RPG elements was a major breakthrough for open game worlds, relegating all previous attempts at immersive gameplay to the margins. This was the pre-internet era, remember? Hence gamers resorted to consulting their friends or phoning the Nintendo hotline when they lost their way. Ingenuity was absolutely essential if you wanted to make progress in this milestone of a game. And that's true. I played through it again like 2 years ago, and there's so much guessing in that game that if you didn't have any help, I remember specifically there's this one part, the graveyard, where you just had to guess what to do and which grave to do it to. We were kids back then. How the hell were we supposed to know that? Saw these already. Okay, let's read about one of these. Let's read about Contra. First released on February 20th, 1987 as a coin-operated arcade game. An NES version followed a year later, known in Europe as a Probotector, along with ports for home computers such as the MSX2, with cool features such as 3D sequences, weapon upgrades, and great versatile controls. This game is as much fun today as it ever was. It's still a good game. Let's read about Metal Gear. Courage and a pack of cigarettes are Solid Snake's only assets. On his arrival in the Outer Heaven military base, the young mercenary's mission is to save Great Agent Gray Fox and neutralize the nuclear threat posed by the game's, that's a word that I never know how to say, eponymous weapon. Stealth is of paramount importance in stealing past vigilant enemies. Indeed, Metal Gear's release gave rise to the stealth genre, which went on to enjoy such great success. Elaborately crafted video sequences inserted into the game became a defining feature of the revolutionary series. Now, some people might argue that the first stealth game was, I think, Escape from Castle Wolfenstein. I forgot what system it's on. It's not the Wolfenstein that you might remember. It's one of the old ones, so I could be wrong. Anyway, so guys, that's it. We took a look through this old book, read about some games, and got to appreciate some pixel art. That's one of my favorite pages, although this was not a game I played. So that's it, guys. More videos to come, and thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you soon.